Hi everyone, my name is Kunal Roy and my topic is called Childish Fantasies. So, how many of you have heard someone say, he sounds like a 4-year-old who wants to be an astronaut? A lot of you would have heard of something like this. The reason that such a phrase is so common is because as children, we all have dreams. And what do we do with those dreams? As children, the only people we know who we know for a fact know the world around us are our parents. So anytime we have an idea, we go to them with it. And our parents dismiss the idea as a childish fantasy. They don't even have to dismiss it, they just have to not take it seriously. If they don't take it seriously, then even we won't take it seriously. So that is what happens for most of us. So now I'll talk about 2 examples. I'll talk about a little bit of what happened with them in their childhood. The first person is Elon Musk. I don't know how many of you have heard of Elon Musk, but he found his dream at a really young age. Okay, so, and I'm sure he went to his parents with it and they must have snubbed him or they must have not taken him seriously. I don't know what happened in detail, but I'm sure something like that happened. Okay, but he had found his dream really young. Okay, so what happened is at around age 12, he taught himself computer programming and he made a game called Blaster. So he is commonly referred to as the real life Tony Stark or Iron Man or something. So at age 12, he taught himself computer programming and he made a game. Okay, and then since then he has gone on to do many very, very great things, like he is now in the clean energy business. He makes cars that run on clean energy. They're all very ridiculously expensive, but still it's a revolution in technology. And he's also in charge of this program called SpaceX. SpaceX, the idea conceived behind the creation of SpaceX was that he wanted to get to Mars, colonize it. One day maybe there could be human civilization there. That was his whole idea. So he put together this organization called SpaceX, and now he's taking baby steps towards realizing that objective. So that's about Elon Musk. And the second example I'd like to talk about is Leonardo Dicaprio. He's probably a little more well-known. And so he, at a very young age, his dad, he had some exposure to the field of arts. But he's something in comic distribution or something. And at a very young age, due to some circumstance that estranged him from the family, he had to leave. I don't know exactly what that age was, but let's just put a number on it for now, say 6. When Leonardo DiCaprio was 6, his dad had to leave the family. And then it was just him and his mom in LA. LA is a very expensive city. So to support him, she had to work many jobs. And again, Leonardo DiCaprio, at this very young age, he knew exactly what he wanted to do with his life. And so at 12, Elon Musk knew what he wanted to do with his life. At 6, hypothetically, Leonardo DiCaprio knew what he wanted to do with his life. And these guys, it's wonderful that they had the strength and the foresight to know at that young age that this was the path for them, and to have the sense to see it through to the finish. It's wonderful that these guys had this foresight. But what if they hadn't done this? I mean, think of most of us at ages 8 and 12. We only care about sweets or what nice fancy toys our parents bring home that evening when they come home from work. We don't have the maturity or the foresight to think of a dream and think of it like maybe someday this could be a reality. All we do is take it to our parents, they dismiss it. Fantasy, it's done. As soon as our parents say no, it's the end of the road for us. So what happens next? What happens next is you go to school. You go to school, you learn physics, chemistry, math, even computer science. Okay, so there is no problem here anymore because these are all the necessary fundamentals you need to rebuild something. Even if there was an idea that you had when you were younger and you didn't get to pursue it, these subjects are still pretty much the fundamentals that you would need to rebuild anything. But the problem here is that you lose sight of your dream, you lose sight of the objective. And then these subjects, they become just that, subjects. You're just learning them to crack exams or get through school or whatever. Okay, so you lose sight of your dream. So you're just learning the subjects for the heck of it. So what happens next? One of 3 things can happen next. Either you learn one of these subjects, you develop a very strong passion for it, and you take that passion forward, you turn it into a career, and you derive immense fulfillment out of it. This is very, very, very rare. The second thing that can happen is you develop an inclination towards a subject, and you take it forward and you pursue a career in it. Okay, so what happens then? What happens then is that you more than looking at it like something you really enjoy doing, you look at it like, why not? I'm good at this, so why not? But 80% of you thinks of it as a means of livelihood. There's only 20% of you who thinks of it like something I like doing. So the sole factor there is not motivation. It's more of, okay, I enjoy doing this, I don't hate doing this, so I'll just use this to make money. So that is the next thing that can happen. This is a little less rare than the first. And the most common thing that happens is you end up hating what you do. You end up hating what you do and you're only in it for the money. So what if there was a platform? What if there was a platform called, say, Childish Fantasies, where you could get all the answers? Say you wanted to become an astronaut. Say you wanted to become an astronaut. The first question for me would be, what does it mean to be an astronaut? Okay, and then the next question would go into some elementary math that you needed to be an astronaut. But it all makes sense because it's coherent. You know you want to be an astronaut and you're getting step-by-step answers for it. What if there was a platform like this? If there was a platform like this, then very many of us would be living out our childish dreams, those that we now call fantasies, as our parents put it. Many of us would be living out our childish fantasies. Okay, so two things again can happen. One is that if there were a resource like this, the first thing that could happen is that as a child you have access to internet, you have access to such a resource. And when you go to your parents with an idea like this, they'll not pay too much attention to it, and then you come back, you do your own internet research, you likely stumble upon this resource that gives you all the answers. And then you see it through to the finish. There is a possibility that you see that you're not cut out for it. Let's say you want to be an astronaut, for example. You want to be an astronaut, for example, so you log on to this website and you get to the physics part of it and you see that you're not able to wrap your head around physics. But the good thing there is at least you explored an idea before you decided to abandon it. So in summary, if there was a platform like this, then you would either choose to take an idea forward or choose to abandon it only after you had all the information. And for those of us who did not get to grow up with a resource like this, the silver lining would be at no matter what point we are in our lives, we would get another chance to revisit the dreams we had as children. If we feel like we are on the wrong path and we need to reconsider what we're doing, we would get another chance to revisit the dreams that we had as children. See that maybe that was something I should have considered back then. Just something to think about. Thank you.